Like, it gives women the right to explore that, to see, like, I feel like being promiscuous and exploring that lets you know too of like what you're into. I think sexualization too is very subjective also, and you don't really know what you're into unless you try something. In general too, when it comes to even like sex work, I don't think there's anything wrong with women fully taking on sex work and that makes them any less empowered.
Yeah, I think it's significantly devalued women. It's actually sexualized them more. And it seems like feminists complain all the time that men sexualize them, but they're the ones supplying it. They're literally here, it's like giving cupcakes to a toddler. You're just giving it out for free. So I don't see how any form of that would be empowering. And I think that that's where the sexual revolution went wrong as well, is they thought that the awareness about it was gonna actually change things, and it made things worse because women were going out and just handing it out for free.
So you're saying that there should be some sort of like, it shouldn't be for free, that it should be...
I'm coming from a Christian perspective, so I think that you should have sex with your husband, and that's pretty much it. The problem with our society is we're in a society of OnlyFans. Instagram is basically everyone is half naked. Women they basically give it out for free. And when I say for free, I mean they're not married. They have no commitment to these men. And I don't think that's empowering for women, nor is it beneficial to them. I think it makes them more depressed, more suicidal, and less confident.
See, I would disagree, because I feel like if anything, it empowers women more, because like, and I'm just gonna bring up like, I guess the topic of like, from a dominatrix perspective. And obviously that is like a very skewed perspective on things, but like, I feel like if anything, for me personally, it's made me more empowered to be able to do something like that and to be able to have that power over man.
Yeah, I think it's a fake empowerment.
Now, why do you feel like it's a fake empowerment?
I don't think that it gives women confidence. It significantly increases their chance for divorce. It significantly increases their chance for infertility. So at the end of the day, there's no benefit towards women if they want to get in a long-term relationship. A lot of these women that are super sexually promiscuous, maybe in their early 20s, and then they get in their 30s and they can't find a man because men don't see them as valuable because they've just been handing it out for free their entire lives. And then also, like I said, it does increase your chance for divorce as well. So you won't have as much of a successful committed relationship if you want that in the future.
I guess. And I mean, like, I've been divorced before. Off of my own choice. And I've been in my last relationship in my marriage. I had started OnlyFans, did OnlyFans. He was completely okay with it. I chose to leave that marriage because it wasn't for me, and now I'm in a new relationship, and he's very proud and pushes me to do whatever I want, pushes me to be whoever I want. And I don't think that really affects relationships as long as you have like a clear understanding and like clear boundaries too of what's okay and what's not okay.
I think it does, and I don't say this disrespectfully, but that is a very weak man. And I think that any like masculine true man would agree with me. Men who are masculine, like they want one woman and they don't want that woman to be sexually promiscuous, and they don't want other men to see their woman all over the internet and be masturbating to their woman. So I would say that that is a weak man, and most men do not want that, and that relationship is not gonna be successful long-term. And I don't say that disrespectfully, but just from a statistic perspective, that's what I would say.
Okay, I mean, I obviously disagree with you on like that being, him being a weak man because he's okay with this and because he allows this and supports me doing whatever I want. I think too, it's obviously different because from like a relationship standpoint, we have a lot of like talk and openness about things, and like obviously too, because I do what I do, I have to be okay with things on his end of like not being as like judgmental for things or being okay with certain things.
So do you have an open relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
I wouldn't say it's open, but like we have explored other things that like he's been more into that I wasn't originally okay with or had tried before or had even like considered. And after trying them, I realized like, okay, yeah, there are things that like I'm into that I wasn't aware of. So it's not like fully open, but we have explored.
And you find that empowering?
I do, personally, because my own opinion, I get turned on seeing my man with another woman. And that's just, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that before exploring that. And I think it was the chance to explore it and like the openness with promiscuity to explore it that I was like, wow, I actually am sexually aroused by something like this.
Yeah, again, I think that's a fake form of empowerment. And my whole claim is that society is grooming really young women to go into OnlyFans and to be sexually promiscuous and to sleep with whoever, to basically be like men and just sleep around and have no emotion to that. We're completely differently wired than men. There's a different chemical reaction that releases when you have sex with a man. So men can just like sleep around and have sex like rabbits. Women are a little bit different. They're more emotionally connected. So I think it's actually damaging women internally more than they think. But they're kind of able to just switch their emotions off and go through it. And then later in life, they end up regretting it.
True, and I can agree with you on that aspect that I do think it is very damaging for girls who are just turning 18 to get into these like OnlyFans spaces without really considering everything that goes into it. And considering like the negatives and the positives that do come with it and without exploring other avenues. When I turned 18, I started doing like nude modeling online, and so that's also from a perspective of like I've been there, and I do wish I would have tried something different or send my other avenues, but I'm also very grateful for those experiences because it has led me to a life that I live, that I enjoy, that I get to wake up every day and do whatever the hell I want because of platforms like OnlyFans. And obviously it's different for everybody, but in the sense of like, I do feel like it is empowering for me to be able to do something like that. And I am a very sexual person. I have other friends who are in like the sex worker space and who are very sexual people. And it empowers them. Sure, there's other people that are gonna come into this space or who are going to sleep around just to try things, even on like a not work side. And it's not gonna be for them. They're not gonna feel the greatest. But that's where I feel like empowerment is so subjective, because one thing that can empower one person will, and it might not empower another person the same way.
I think it's extremely sad that you feel like that's the only way that you can wake up and do whatever you want and have freedom.
No, totally. There's plenty of other ways that I can have freedom without doing that. But I enjoy what I do.
But going back to what you said about when you turned 18, mm-hmm. You wish you wouldn't have done it, and you said you think it's damaging for women to go in it that young. So why does it change, I don't know, 10 years later when you're 28?
I guess because I've explored it a little bit more. I've really like considered the pros and the cons of it. I've tried other things. I've tried other like avenues as far as like work goes, and this is just what I feel like is, I don't know, I have fun doing it.
I mean, yeah, and then that's your preference, I guess. But my whole point being that I don't believe it's empowering. I think, just saying, when you're older and at the end of your life, I don't think that you're going to look back and say, wow, I'm so glad, I wish I would have slept with more men, or I wish I would have been more sexually promiscuous. Pretty much the majority of women regret sleeping around and regret being sexually promiscuous or having abortions or sleeping with multiple men before they got married because it affected their marriages and it affected them later in life.
I would disagree with that because of the openness I've been able to have with like being sexual and like trying new things, I've been able to figure out like things that I don't like or that I do like. And I think that's also important.
But you don't think you can do that with one person?
You can, but not everybody, like everybody's so different when it comes to like hooking up with somebody or like having an experience with somebody that it's just a very different feeling, I guess.
I can see it. I just think that if you're already saying that young women going to the industry at 18 is damaging, then it's damaging for every woman, no matter the age.
At the end of the day, I feel like the main thing is, if we're talking about empowerment is different to like each person. So that's more of my argument with it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you die? Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.